Hey everyone, Jennifer Lee Chan here from NBC Sports Bay Area. I took a day off because I was out with friends and watching the Warriors game, which was not a very fun game to watch, but we're back at it. About to talk 49ers. One kind of fun, interesting little tidbit that was sent to my email box inbox was the fact that the 49ers faithful spend more money and wear the most jerseys of any other franchise in the league. So bravo to you 49ers fans spending a ton of money, but also, I mean, like decked out. I love going to games and especially away games, and I see a ton of 49ers fans. And man, 49ers faithful, y'all travel really, really well. There's always fans no matter where we go, even if it's a tough ticket to get, even like when it's Green Bay, when it's the playoffs, there are always a ton of 49ers faithful. So bravo to everybody who gets decked out to go to these away games. And of course, games at Levi Stadium. Always fun to see you. So if you see me out at games this season, preseason, at practices, please say hi. I'd love to meet you and we'll, do a selfie if you'd like or chat, anything. So hopefully I'll see some of you out there when I hit the road for games this season. But anyways, getting back to the 49ers, obviously kind of the news of the week was the fact that George Kittle signed his extension. Both George and Claire posted pictures of them in the office signing the contract, and he is signed through the 2029 season. I know there's some people who say amazing. He should be a Niner for at least 10 years. And then there's another faction of people that say he's on the other side, the wrong side of 30, and that they shouldn't have spent so much money on him. But honestly, for George Kittle, I think you've got to do it. The message, not only what George Kittle does for the 49ers, but his leadership on the field, off the field, what he does with the ball in his hands, what he does when the ball's not in his hands, blocking, and his leadership, just everything that he is. He stands for what the 49ers are. He is a 49er through and through. He's a leader in the tight end room. He's a leader on the offense. When Brock Purdy was in his rookie year, George Kittle was in his ear and like supporting him. And George Kittle supports everybody. He is great with the fans. He does salute to service. So I mean, not just that, but the message that it would send if the 49ers didn't support him by signing an extension would reverberate through the locker room. Just like if they don't sign Brock Purdy to a mega contract, and I think they're getting closer. I mean, for John Lynch to say there's substantive talks going on, that means things are going in the right direction. But if the 49ers didn't sign Brock Purdy or George Kittle or Fred Warner to extensions, that that message that they aren't taking care of their own bleeds into the locker room and it changes the way people feel about the organization. And I was around when that wasn't the way it was. When Levi Stadium opened, it was we're only hanging championship banners. And I think there was less of a relationship with bringing that roster, building around those people. It was just not a healthy locker room. It was not a healthy organization at that time. And I do give Jed York credit for maturing and growing into the role of being CEO. I think it's tough. You're pulled in all different directions and you have an image you want to project to the fans and to the league. And, he's coming to his own. And part of that is maintaining that is keeping the guys who mean everything to your organization. And those are guys like Fred Warner, like George Kittle, like Trent Williams and Nick Bosa and Christian McCaffrey, all those guys that mean so much to the organization on the field and off the field, they have to maintain that. So whether you think it's a good idea or not, as far as George Kittle's age, they have to take care of a guy like George Kittle because of what it sends, that message it sends to the locker room and the message it sends to the league, really. I mean, you look at how many guys they have on their second contract. I mean, even guys that are not there anymore, like Deebo Samuel, got his second contract with the 49ers. They took care of him. Brandon Ayuk got his second contract. Yes, he's going to make his way back. Christian McCaffrey got a second contract with the 49ers. Trent Williams got a second contract with the 49ers. Fred Warner is going to get a third. George Kittle is going to get got his third. Brock Purdy's going to get his second. Nick Bosa probably will get a third. not only does it show that the 49ers have drafted well and they like to grow their own, but it's a loyalty thing. And the NFL and the football is so fickle. I mean, you see these huge name players that get drafted. And I'm not saying that George Kittle, doesn't maybe, at the end of 10 years, something changes and he wants to make more money and he goes and signs with another team. I don't think he will, but maybe that's a situation that happens. I mean, we saw it with Joe Montana, saw it with I mean, you saw it with Jerry Rice. These are guys that you never thought would leave, but it happens. It's just one of those fickle things about the league. The league is fickle, teams are fickle, and it's, what have you done for me lately? And they've got to keep the salary cap underneath a certain level. So they prepared for these moments where they're going to have to pay Brock a ton of money. They're going to have to pay George Kittle a lot of money. They did pay George Kittle a lot of money, and then it's Fred Warner. And, hopefully it's other guys that they've drafted and they develop and they become pro bowlers, they become all pros, become team captains, they become leaders. They want to do that. And yes, they can't keep everybody, which is why Deebo Samuel is with the Washington Commanders. Aaron Banks, you know, gets picked up by another team. Jalen Moore goes to the Kansas City Chiefs. So I mean, I think it's mostly offensive linemen that have gotten huge contracts elsewhere. It does happen, but I think when you've got guys like George Kittle and Fred Warner, who are really the heart of the team, they have to take care of them. So, um, looking at the new draft class, the 49ers went very, very heavily in on the defensive side. First five picks go to defense. The last time they picked five defensive players, five in a row to start the draft, 1981, first Super Bowl win. So we spoke to Tariq Ahmad, Josh Williams, and RJ Gillen, and those are the guys that head the personnel department. It was very interesting what they had to say. We asked all of them different questions, and they all kind of chipped in on their answers. The first question though was, did you think this draft was going to go primarily defense? And Tariq Ahmad said, we didn't know going into it. We knew that it wasn't going to be an emphasis, and there was an emphasis on finding guys that would play our style, the style that Rob likes to play with, Robert Saleh. I think we did a really good job finding those pieces. Josh Williams said, I don't know if it was all about defense. We got a couple offensive guys as well, and I think we did a pretty good job of addressing the need, but also identifying the best player available, a good combination of that. RJ Gillen said, hey, just trust the process. We trust our scouts, we trust our coaches, and how we all see the player and the evaluation and the fit. What role is that player going to play for us, and how much conviction we have just trying to fit that player into our scheme? Now, when you look at those first few picks, Chris Kasarik and Robert Saleh had a really big influence on who they drafted. Michael Williams, I think, is going to be a guy who fits in very quickly. He wants to learn a lot from Nick Bosa. He is a guy that is fast, he's twitchy, he's long. He is similar to that DeForest Buckner, Eric Armstead body style, 6'5", 265. I think he's going to get a lot of playing time, and they want him on the field a lot. He is completely healthy from that ankle injury. And I honestly think if he didn't have the ankle injury, he probably would have gotten higher, and the 49ers wouldn't have been able to get him at number 11. So, kind of silver lining is that he had the ankle injury. He didn't get drafted early on. I think it was kind of a steal for a value pick at number 11 for the 49ers. And then the next two defensive line guys that they drafted, I mean, they've got a really solid defensive line. CJ West, the comp for him is DJ Jones. So DJ Jones is a guy who Robert Saleh has really liked since the beginning. Very stout, and this is what John Lynch said about him. Alfred, obviously Alfred Collins and CJ West. So I think if we're talking about him, extremely stout, sturdy, but also has the quickness and strength to play in the other team's backfield. Makes a lot of splash plays. And in the other team's backfield, I had the chance to watch him live this year when we went back to Ohio State. Indiana was there and made an impression in that game. But more so, his film, his body of work has really stood out. And we just felt like it was a really good fit, adding another D line to the team we are building. So this really is a rebuild of the defensive line. I don't think it's an entire rebuild of the organization, but it is definitely a rebuild of this defensive line, the one that they want to bring back that 2019 style. So, I mean, that 2019 group, when D Ford was healthy, that group was so good. It was, Nick Bosa and Eric Armstead and DeForest Buckner and DJ Jones and, you know, or was it DJ Jones yet? I'm not sure if it was yet. But those guys really dominated the line of scrimmage, and it allowed them to not be like, I mean, it really fell on the defensive line. Linebackers did their job, um, cornerbacks did their job, but it really started up front. And so when you look at, Michael Williams, Alfred Collins, CJ West, they're young, but I think they're going to contribute very quickly. And Nick Bosa is going to be the ringleader there. They still have Yetur Gross-Matos as a veteran who's going to help them out. They've got Kevin Givens, they've got Jordan Elliott. So some guys have been around. So, but I really do think those three new guys are going to make a big impact coming up in 2025. So we'll see them all at rookie minicamp. That's coming up next week. That's May 8th, 9th, and 10th. I'll be up there checking them out. I'm also going to be up in the city this weekend on Saturday. George Kittle is holding an event with some kids close to the public, but at the DeYoung Museum. So excited to see George Kittle. Be the first time we talk to him after his extension. So that'll be kind of fun. Anyways, I hope you're well. I'm a little nervous and excited about the Warriors game tomorrow, but hopefully they pull it off and move forward. All right, everybody. I hope you're well. More news. If you have any questions about the guys that have been drafted, please leave them in the comments. If you'd like me to talk about anything in particular, also leave that in the comments. Subscribe and like, please. Really appreciate you taking the time to tune in. Hope you're well.